This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
You may have said this before. Maybe you've heard it. Quote, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. Who doesn't? What is the difference between being happy or happiness and feeling joy and being content? We're going to look at all of that, but through the lens of dealing with an autoimmune disease. And she is somebody that coaches people and their family members with those challenges. She's got some very, very deep credentials in doing that. And it's now her forte. She's lived that life, by the way, herself. She's an RN, BSN, MSN, MBA, and PhD. And she's Cheryl Patterson joining us once again on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. Doing very well. I can't believe that the summer's over already, but I love the fall, and we're moving into fall now, and that's a good season.
Yeah, it's like you're dressed for fall already.
I am. Yeah, it's my colors.
All right. Well, I guess it's your season then.
It is my season.
Are you happy?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the differences between happiness, joy, and contentment.
You know what? I got to tell you, Cheryl, I don't even know how to define it. Like, yes, I have, like all of us have an idea of what this one is, what that one is. I can't really give it a definition.
Well, you know, it is a good part of coaching to be able to delve into these areas more deeply with people so that they can find a sense of joy and contentment. Let's start out with happiness. Let's begin with that one, because that's what we're most familiar with, that term of I just want to be happy, or I just want my children to be happy. So yes, happiness is desired by everyone, but it's not a constant state of mind. It's a temporary emotion. It's dynamic. It's not permanent, which means it comes and goes quickly. And it's derived from external sources like events or circumstances or achievements or fame or wealth, tangible items like jewelry or a new car. Not that those aren't nice, they are. Social interactions can give us happiness, but happiness is affected by our work-life balance and the expectations that we have of our life and the expectations that we have of other people, which the longer we live life, the more we realize how little control we have over what happens in our lives and what other people do and say. We just don't have control. And so to have certain expectations of our life and of other people is a sure recipe for unhappiness when situations in life and people don't meet our expectations. So happiness is all about focusing on pleasure, pacing after pleasure, or avoiding pain and discomfort. So it's a series of looking at the cost-benefit ratio of, is this effort and this amount of money worth the happiness I'm going to get from it? But I also want to share a piece, because I am a little bit of an academic. A piece of research has shown that limiting the amount of time with social media contributes to happiness. Now, we know we're hearing on TV all the time about spending too much time with social media has led to anxiety, depression. School age, high school, college kids, are having self-image problems because they just spend all their time in social media. And it's true of adults too. So it's just an interesting piece of research.
Oh, 100%. And I think a lot of that comes from when you're on social media, let's be honest with each other. You're comparing yourself to a celebrity, to a friend, whatever it is. And I believe that a comparison steals joy or happiness. I'm not really sure what joy is yet. We're going to get to that.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Let's talk about joy. Sure. Let's talk about the definition of joy. Okay, joy is a feeling also. It's a feeling of delight or excitement, bliss, high energy, but it's also more than an emotion. Joy is a state of being. It's a sustained state of being. It's deeper than happiness. It's more intrinsic and it's internally contained, which happiness is not. And the thing about joy is it's a source of strength, even in tough times. Joy is when you have a sense of joy, you can feel joy even when you're walking through the valley of death. When you're going through challenging times, stressful times, you can still feel joy. It's an appreciation of the present moment, and it's derived from simple pleasures. So one of the things I do in my coaching programs is to work with people on how to cultivate joy in their life. And there's a number of different exercises or assignments or tasks and things that we do that helps cultivate joy. One of them is just connecting with nature. It's real hard not to feel joyful when you're appreciating nature,
Sure.
whether it's the beach or the mountains or just even a city park. Walking through the woods can give you a sense of joy. It's engaging in playfulness. Doing something playful with someone that you like to be with, or even alone, something that's just playful and fun gives a sense of joy. Another thing is to celebrate achievements, no matter how small. So one of the assignments that I do with my clients is something that can give you a sense of achievement is to declutter and clean out something in your house, whether it's just one cupboard or your pantry or your medicine cabinet or a closet. Just pick one thing that's full of clutter and is disorganized. In fact, I have an ebook on my website. It's an ebook on decluttering your house, your yard, and your office and organizing it. And so just deciding one small area that you're going to do this week, put it on your calendar, the date, the time, and next week when we talk again, and you've even taken a photograph of what that looked like before. It's just like, wow, I just feel such a sense of joy that I got something done, even if it's a small thing.
And you're cleaning up your life. And I'm going to pivot over for a minute to those who believe in energy. I do.
Yeah.
I feel we're all energy. You vibrate at one energy level. I'm in a different one. That's the way it's supposed to be. This pen has energy. Everything is energy. And somebody who is intuitive professionally, and famous for it, I'm going to leave it at that, told me years ago that when you've got like boxes all over the place, let's just, clutter as you walk through and you got to, kind of weave around it and get clothes here and everything, you're blocking the flow of positive energy. And that's why you need to declutter. And one more on the energy aspect. I understand that, and I always thought it was happy or happiness as the highest vibration energetically. It's joy. That's the highest. And the lowest is shame. I thought it was sadness. No, it's shame.
It's shame.
Yeah.
And that's another topic that I deal with too in my coaching program is shame. To look at the opposite end of the spectrum. But again, another aspect of finding and feeling joy is to practice gratitude every day. And just in some small way, to be thankful for something each day. And I'm going to talk about that more as relates to contentment when we get into that. So yeah, joy is the highest level. Yes.
Can we before we go?
No. Yep.
Let's recap and make sure this is how I'm interpreting and understanding. Correct me if I'm not getting this right. Happiness seems to be reliant on other things to make you happy.
External things.
So that I'm buying a new car, or I'm going on vacation, or I'm hanging with friends. Nothing wrong with any of that as your source of happiness, whereby joy it looks like it comes from within, and it seems like it's once you're there that it lasts longer, it's stronger,
and it's there even through tough times.
I want to go there. So how do you find the joy when you're dealing with adversity? Is it just when you've nailed it through gratitude and other ways that we're talking about? How do you find your joy when you're going through the throes of challenge?
Well, that's why we're going to get into contentment,
Okay.
because joy and contentment are different.
What was that?
Okay.
Shut up, Steve. Okay.
No, you're making my points for me, which is wonderful, which is why you're such a good host. You've
I'm just
learned how to
trying
do
to learn,
that.
and you're a great teacher, and just process all of it. Very clear, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, yes, so you've just sort of opened up the door for me now to talk about contentment, because that's different from joy. So
Hmm.
let's talk about the definition of contentment. Contentment is an internal sense of peace. Peace and contentment go together.
Ooh, okay.
Contentment is being satisfied with your life in spite of disappointments, in spite of imperfections, in spite of challenges, in spite of having a disease. It's being satisfied. Now, Mark Twain said his definition of wealth was satisfaction with what you have. Mark Twain said that. Being wealthy is being satisfied with what you have. And he also said that being rich isn't all it's cracked up to be. So, but
Mm,
that's
well,
well,
yeah. You bring up all these great points, and I want the microscope on them. Look at so many people that have become millionaires through the lottery or other ways, and like I hit it big, it's fantastic. Anytime interviews have been done, it's right at 80 something percent. Most of them will say, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to bring me happiness. All that money is blown now anyway.
yeah.
It wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And
Mhm.
I believe that most of that, and there's nothing wrong with having those wonderful things in life, the big house, the cars,
Exactly.
the boats, and all of that. That's fine. That's all good. But is it really what makes you happy? I believe that if you really go searching from within, that you need very little to be happy. Yeah, you got to pay bills and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of times an illusion. It's a false sense of happiness.
Exactly. Right. So those external things will give you happiness for a little while, but then after a while, you get pretty bored with them,
Mm,
really.
mm.
And it's just like, okay, that's fine. What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yes.
What's the next thing?
Shiny object syndrome. Yes.
Exactly. Right. So contentment, again, getting back to the definition, is recognizing and accepting your current circumstances or your current situation, your current problems. It's recognizing and accepting it. Now, that's not pretending that everything's rosy and peachy keen and just fine. It's not ignoring your challenges or your problems, but it's recognizing them and accepting them as a part of your life. So if you've got an autoimmune disease or a chronic illness of some kind, you're not dying. I'm not dying. Yes, I've got MS and I've got psoriasis. I'm not dying, but it's just part of my identity. So there are actual benefits that you derive from being content. And again, talking about research, and there are ways to measure levels of contentment, that it actually enhances your health and your well-being. Really,
Mm,
it does. It enhances your health and well-being, but being content reduces the stress that you feel. It improves your relationships, and it gives you a greater sense of resilience. And resilience, the definition of that
mm.
is the ability to adapt and bounce back from troubles, from adversity, from stress or challenges. So we all need to have resilience. But if you've got an autoimmune disease or a chronic illness of some kind, you need even more resilience to bounce back. And contentment increases your resilience so you can bounce back.
Yep.
So again, when I'm working with my clients, we have certain exercises or assignments or tasks that we do that kind of cultivate contentment of different kinds. For example, I talked about practicing gratitude daily, developing a daily routine where you just feel gratitude for something. And again, it doesn't have to be something major like having a new grandchild or a new car, as wonderful as those are.
Mm-hmm.
It can be the smallest thing. And I want to share with you my gratitude routine. So I wake up in the morning and I wake up and I brush my teeth. And then after I brush my teeth, I have this real soft, fluffy washcloth. And I turn the water on in my sink, real warm, almost hot,
Mm.
as warm as I can stand it. And I get this fluffy washcloth saturated, and then I wring it out all the water out of it. And then I just put it on my face like this. And I breathe in and out through my nose and my mouth. And I feel that warm air come in and out, and the warmth on my face, and breathing in that warm air. And while I'm doing that, I just stand there for a few minutes and I think of something to be grateful for. It can be something that happened yesterday or last night, or something that I know is going to happen that day. It can be something as simple as, for example, my son came over for dinner the night before and he cleaned up all the dishes after dinner so I didn't have to do it. How sweet was that? How understanding was that? So just something as simple as that, or something that's going to happen that day.
I love that idea with the washcloth. As minimal as it sounds, there's magic in it.
Yeah.
First of all, it almost in some ways can feel like a mini spa treatment for, 50 seconds.
Just to
But
breathe in that hot air. Yeah.
it's
energy.
awakening you from the inside out,
Yeah.
where that's where the gratitude practice can come in. For me, I wake up first thing in the morning. Typically my dog is right in my face saying, yeah, I want to go out. And I'm like, dude, lay down another 5. And I get out a gratitude journal, and I like doing it when I first wake up. I can barely even see, but I just feel like I'm in that zone. Whatever works for everybody. But the washcloth technique is just an interesting one, that it's kind of waking up your senses in some way.
Yes.
Hmm.
It's a sensory, and it relates to the idea of energy that you mentioned. So if it's not energy, it's just this sensation
Yeah.
that feels so good while you're also thinking in your mind about gratitude. But this is a point where it's good to talk about stop comparing, no comparisons. When you begin to compare yourself to other people, to neighbors, to friends, to family members, to coworkers, that's a sure recipe for discontentment, because you're always going to find people around you that have more money, that are better looking, that are stronger, that are faster, that have achieved more. But you're also going to see people who have less.
Hmm.
You're always somewhere in the middle. And so we talk about how to stop comparing yourself to other people, other situations. And another thing that we talk about is feeling self-compassion and self-empathy. That contributes to being content with the way you are,
Hmm.
to have compassion for yourself. And then another thing is embracing simplicity in life.
Mm-hmm.
Minimize your stuff, minimize the amount of stuff in your life, and simplify your life. And that brings on a greater sense of contentment. Mindfulness, that in meditation, of course, that contributes to contentment, is to be able to, in the moment, do a meditation, do a mindfulness exercise that brings you into a sense of being content in the moment.
Mm.
And then a big one, again, related to comparing yourself to other people or other situations, is having realistic expectations. Because many times we're not content because we had unrealistic expectations for our life. Like we thought we were going to be a millionaire by the time we were 40, or that we were going to accomplish something that was not realistic, at least as you look at your life right now. So now you're discontent. So that's one of the things that we talk about in coaching is, okay, let's look at what would be a realistic expectation for something that you could achieve in the next year or the next 3 years. Let's talk about what that would be, and let's map out a plan to achieve that in the next year or the next 3 years. So again, that will give you a sense of contentment that you've achieved that goal that you want for your life. So those are the kinds of things that we deal with in my coaching programs. And I have a quote that I want to read that I think is related to the concept of contentment. It's a quote by Jim Carrey. We all know Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
We all know he's left the world of entertainment. He's kind of left that world behind. But here's Jim Carrey's quote, and you can look this up because it's out there. Jim Carrey said, quote, "I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see it's not the answer. So again, he was learning about happiness, joy, and contentment right there in that quote.
Oh, completely, completely. And you said a word before I want to circle back on, the word peace.
Yes.
It's a game changer for me. And when I was a kid and I got older, I'm not very religious, but anytime I would go to church, I always hear, peace be with you, peace be with you, peace be with you. And I turn around and say, hey, peace be with you. Honestly, I didn't even know what it meant. I
I
didn't even
know.
know why are we doing that? What is peace? I didn't realize it until in certain situations overall, I realized that, wait, there is no peace. I don't have any peace in my life
Well,
until I worked on it and found it.
you did. Good. I have
Yeah.
to tell you, there's a book that was written by a pastor. It's called Peace and Joy, the Peace and Joy Principle. He wrote this book, and unfortunately, it's out of print. And I'm so sorry it's out of print. But
Mm,
I have the back in the days of cassette tapes, I have a little cassette tape with a radio show that he did where he talked about this peace and joy principle and how they are connected to each other, peace and joy. And I have it on a little cassette tape. I don't have it on a CD, and I had a copy of the book, but it's out of print. But if you are a Christian, this really did a very good job of connecting Christian faith with the ability to find peace and joy and how they're connected with one another.
how can you find peace as we talk about happiness, joy, and contentment?
Well, it does have to do with your expectations of life
Mm,
and what you think is going to be a part of your life and the things that you worry about that
mm.
you're wasting your time worrying about.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
it's
again,
stealing your peace, isn't it?
it steals your peace because you're so worried about things that you think aren't going right. And you're convinced that you're never going to achieve that happiness that you want to find. Or you found that happiness and then it disappeared. And so now you're not peaceful again because it just evaporated. The happiness that you derived from that external source. So again, it's finding that contentment that
Mm.
gives you peace. And it's that peace and joy that you get from a sense of contentment. Um,
Isn't it amazing that we're talking about these things and it's universal? And
it is.
everything you've said, Cheryl, I agree with everything. And how can I say that? Because I learned it along the way, and you just validated it. And it was like a couple of years ago. I was in my garage. It was kind of a little rainy day. I was getting ready to leave for work, and I'm just staring at the trees. I could just, through the garage, I see trees on both sides, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm at the point now where I could live anywhere, like a cabin in the woods, a little shack on the beach, and that'd be okay. It's fine. When you scale things back and you minimalize some things in your life, then you realize I don't need all that other stuff that was that, I thought I needed happiness, right? All that stuff I needed. You pare it down and then you focus on you and what you need and being content. And
Yes.
this is universal. Now add an autoimmune disease and how much more impactful it is. Um, Maybe, I
Mhm.
mean, we mentioned shame before on the other side of the spectrum. I don't know, maybe at some point, maybe look at some of those things and how you can lift yourself up from those points.
Yes, right. And that's a separate topic that I would love to talk about at some point too. But shame and isolation that people are feeling these days so much. Yeah.
Isolation, oh my gosh, if you Google it right now, Surgeon General CDC, epidemic,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is a cute skit to watch. You remember George Carlin?
Oh, love them.
Yeah, he's got a skit that he did. I think it was in the 1970s, but it may have even been in the 1960s. But you can find it on YouTube. But it's his skit that he does on stuff. It's
Oh,
called
a place
Stuff.
for your
Have you?
stuff. It was
place for your
the
stuff.
early 80s. Remember it well. I listened to it, and yeah, everybody needs a place for their stuff.
Stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because we all
And
got stuff.
we got stuff.
Yeah,
And then we have more stuff. We have to rent a place to take more stuff and put it in that other place. And
that's
he
so
does
true.
it so well.
He's
Yeah,
genius. Fortunately, he's not here.
I
I, fi-
know.
I finally got tickets to see him, and I'm on Long Island, New York, and he was playing in the Hamptons, and I was about to go to the show, and he passed. I never
Oh,
got to
no, you're
go.
kid.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah, but
Wow.
comedic genius, and some
He
of the
was a
things he said just made you look at life in a different way, and just the things we say and the things we save. Cheryl, how do we connect with you? How do we find you? Somebody's dealing with an autoimmune disease, or know somebody who is. You're amazing in the way you have a view of everything. It's like a 360 view of those diseases and how we can feel better. How do we do that?
Thank you. Go to my website, which is lifeenhancementcoaching.org, lifeenhancementcoaching.org. And then you can see the different kinds of coaching programs that I do and a little bit of my background and talk about the kind of coaching that I do. And then there's a lot of links there on each page. There's several different pages. I got a lot of blogs on there. You can read the blogs, but there's a lot of links to go into my calendar, and you can go in there and schedule a free 45-minute session just to talk about what I might be able to help you with. No charge, just we'll talk for 45 minutes. So, yeah,
Outstanding talk today. I have to tell you, reframe things for me in terms of happiness, because many of us use that word and think it's the end all. But
yeah,
let's strive for joy or
strive
contentment.
for joy and contentment.
Yeah.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks, and we'll catch up next time.
Yes. Thanks so much,
Appreciate it.
Steve.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.